Shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. You're like, why are you up here? And why are you up here with a book? What is going on? Rabbi Rosen was supposed to deliver the sermon this evening, and he is unfortunately sick. Refuah Shlema to Rabbi Rosen. And so we will not have exactly the full-length, beautiful Devar Torah that he would have given this evening if his voice had been up to it. But because I have the privilege of getting to teach a little Torah every Monday in our Elements program, I had something that was kind of ready. So we're going to get a little word of Torah because it would be a shame to go through Erev Shabbat and not get to learn a little bit of Torah together. So with apologies to those of you who heard this on Monday, a little bit of a riff of Parshat Yitro. So I mentioned before, Parshat Yitro, this is when we get the 10 Commandments. This is when we get the revelation at Sinai. It is a big deal. And the whole thing starts off, though, with a lovely little domestic moment between Moses and his father-in-law, Yitro. You heard that word already, Yitro, because the parsha is usually named after the first significant word that occurs. But there's always something to look at when we think about what is that first significant word? Why in this parsha that's all about the big moment of meeting God and getting the 10 Commandments, Yitro, who isn't even an Israelite, gets to be the title character. So Yitro, Moses' father-in-law, is a Midianite high priest. You may remember when Moses fled Egypt, he takes up with some Midianites, he marries Yitro's daughter, and being a Midianite high priest means that you are very much literally non-Israelite and leader of another religious group. So we might expect, okay, when his father-in-law shows up and Moses shows up, Moses, who's now going to be the interlocutor between God and the people, maybe there's going to be something a little funny going on. So we start to pay attention to this moment when Yitro and Moses suddenly are both commenting on the job that Moses is doing. So Yitro shows up at camp. He's bringing along Moses' family. They all meet up, and Yitro follows Moses to work one day. He shows up and he sees Moses is sitting in front of the people all day long. People are coming up to him from morning until evening with disputes or questions, and Moses has to talk to every single one of them and tell them what it is that God wants them to do, or what is the right decision in each of the cases they bring before him, all day long. And Yitro looks at Moses at the end of this day and goes, hey, what you're doing, not good. We only hear not good 2 times in the Torah. Yitro is like, not good, my friend. You're going to wear yourself out. You're going to wear the people out. This isn't working. You need to set up a system. You're going to delegate. You're going to have a whole judicial system, and people will go through, and only the stuff that really no one can figure out is going to go to you. That way, you're not going to get worn out, the people aren't going to get worn out, and everyone gets to go home b'shalom, in peace. But there's a really cool thing that happens in the middle of this speech, which is that Yitro, remember, he is a high priest of another religion, says to Moses, the guy who talks directly to God, he says, if you do this, and so God commands you, you'll be able to bear up. You'll be able to do this. And so God commands you. What's Yitro doing telling Moses what God commands? It's kind of wild, right? But what's even more wild is that Moses listens. He agrees. Yeah, this is, I guess, what God wants me to do. It makes you think a little bit. And it made me think of another Moses Maimonides, who was a great medieval halachist and philosopher, and on the side he was a physician. He did a lot of things. He was very smart. And in his introduction to a book called The 8 Chapters, which is a philosophical work on ethics, Maimonides wrote this amazing line. He said, "One should listen to the truth, whoever says it." One should listen to the truth, whoever says it. Maimonides listened to the truth from Aristotle and Arabic philosophers and the rabbis and the Torah. He brought all of that together. He drew from all of those different sources in his teachings, which I think is pretty cool. He listened to the truth wherever it came from. And Moses, too, he listened to his father-in-law, even on matters of divine law, because he was able to recognize that he was hearing truth, even when it might have been hard for him to hear. It reminds us that we need to be open ourselves to hearing truth from unexpected sources. And we might want to listen especially hard when that truth feels uncomfortable, because it might be extra true. And secondly, in order to do that well, we need to be able to hone our own internal ethical compass so that we're able to evaluate when it is that we're hearing truth or when we're speaking truth, to know where our magnetic north is when it comes to hearing the echoes of the divine. It's not as grand as at Sinai. It's not as clear. There isn't the thunder and the lightning and the pyrotechnics. But that divine voice is still echoing. And if we can attune our hearts so we know when to hear it, we too can know to listen to the truth wherever it comes from. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. The word in Hebrew for truth is emet. And it's said that it begins with an aleph and ends with a taf, the beginning and end of the Hebrew alphabet, kind of like the alpha and the omega in the Greek alphabet. And so everything is contained in the word emet. And you may hear in every single one of our Friday night services, Adonai Elohechem emet. The word emet, I am your God, the source of truth. So in place of a full-length sermon, we thought we'd give you a Bissel Torah and a Bissel Shira, a little bit of singing. This melody from Rabbi Josh Bashosky, who also wrote our Lechadodi melody tonight. The most important word is, you guessed it, emet. Take a listen. Emet. Try that. Emet. You got it. Emet. Emet. Try that. We say, Emet atahu rishon, Emet atahu acharon. You are the first and you are the last. You encompass everything. Emet atahu rishon, atahu acharon, umi baladecha. Emet atahu rishon. Emet atahu rishon, atahu acharon, umi baladecha. emet.
Atahu Rishon, Atahu Acharon, Umivaladecha. Emet Atahu Rishon, Atahu Acharon, Umivaladecha.